And it's time to check out the headlines on Nigerian newspapers this morning. We have a host of them here. We start off with blueprints. Now, it says days after President Buhari gave a full freedom order, troops give terrorists bloody nose, killed 76 in 2 weeks. It catalogues some of the exploits of our military officials in the northeast and across Nigeria. That's on blueprints. We head now to the Daily Trust. We won't use force to rescue abducted train victims. This is according to President Muhammadu Buhari when he was addressing relatives of kidnapped victims in Abuja on Thursday. Now to the leadership. Terrorists creating parallel government in Kaduna State. This is according to the governor. Nasiru El-Rufai are also said to be addressing President Buhari. Let's check out Daily Sun now. Guards Brigade buries slain captain. 4 soldiers in Abuja, as well as terrorists creating parallel government in Kaduna State. El-Rufai cries to Buhari. The Daily Sun there. Let's see this Nigeria leading with what it calls tears flow as presidential guards killed. As presidential guards killed in terrorist ambush buried. Tears flow as presidential guards killed in terrorist ambush buried. We head to Nigerian Tribune now. The biggest story there is on the $418 million Paris Club refund. AGF Abubakar Malami says governors cannot complain over deductions. We rely on Buhari's directive to halt payment of refund to consultants. That's according to the Nigerian Governors Forum. Finally, with me is This Day. Still on first the terrorism slants, Buhari, why we didn't use maximum force to free Kaduna train attack victims, and of course the latest on the Paris Club refund issue. Malami saying that the governor's complaint is baseless. Over now to Mike.
All right, I have the Nigerian News Direct here. That's where we're starting from on this side. $418 million Paris Club refund. No justification for governors to challenge deduction. That's the federal government is saying this. All right, Attorney General not serving public. Onyekwere is laying part of his opinion there. All right, that's Nigerian News Direct. From there, let's go to the Punch newspaper. The Punch says, Wike sues Atiku. Tambuwa demands recognition as candidate. All right, governor asks court to order INEC to remove Atiku's name from candidates list. Wike faults Tambuwa's withdrawal for Atiku. It says PDP acted in bad faith. And Atiku has not been served, says Media Aid. PDP spokesman keeps mum on this. All right. I recall that we had the presidential spokesperson just yesterday on this. Now, that's the Punch newspaper. The Vanguard is next. Now, PDP is the focus here. Atiku sends Adamawa governor to Wike, meeting deadlocked. Adamawa governor Umaru Fintiri's meeting with Wike deadlocked on Ayu. Pressure on Ayu by party leaders to resign. Wike insists he must resign as he promised. A face-off threatens composition of campaign council. You know, all of the riders there on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. Let's go to The Nation now. The Nation newspaper says APC vice chair, that's what the focus here is. Northwest governors behind Tinubu. Lukman is saying no discordant tune in ruling party. Why Lalong won't resign as campaign DG. That's The Nation newspaper. The Guardian is next. And Catholics knock Lalong over Pope comment, want him suspended. All right, that's what is on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. Lalong, my preference or my reference to Pope was mark of reverence, not ridicule. All right, APC Northern Christians insist on VP slot. Submit protest letter to Buhari. Lalong won't resign as campaign DG, says APC group. All right, it's a back and forth and all of that on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. Let's move now to First News, and the focus here is telecom tax. Nigerians must pay more for calls, data. Federal government insists. That's what you see on the front page of the First News. From there, let's go to the national economy. Stakeholders doubt viability of Nigeria Air project. Stakeholders doubt viability of Nigeria Air project, okay? Recall the Minister of Aviation had announced that the Nigeria Air project was going to kick off. From there, let's go to Business Day, which is the last one on my table right now. Nigeria's gas flares, lowest since 2012 as use increases, right? Nigeria's gas flares, lowest since 2012 as use increases, all right? That's what you see on the front page of the Business Day. Kemi.
So many papers there, and of course we've seen the big stories there. One of them is the address by the president to some relatives of the remaining 31 abductees, talking about the Kaduna train attack victims, and the president stated reasons why he had to jettison the go-ahead to use lethal weapons or lethal military force. This, he says, was avoided or was done to avoid potential casualties, from the move to rescue the remaining hostages. But of course, it doesn't. It still underscores the tension that relatives, kith and kin would be going through at this time to ensure that their loved ones are back with them.
Now, the point there is this challenge of Nigerians who are kidnapped being still in custody, especially with this case, it's a very troubling situation for Nigerians, not just the family, not just the immediate family, but one can imagine what they go through. And for government, a lot of people feel that if the government wants to do what they want to do, they have the capacity and they have the intelligence to do that. So it is the will that people are saying, government, let us see this will in bringing these people home, and also apprehending or neutralizing, as the word is used in some quarters, those who are behind it. So that's what I have to say of that.
Especially as people have said that the president needs to do more, and then he has gone on to assure them that they are doing all they can. Efforts are intensifying to rescue the captives.
The president addressed the people yesterday. It was good that they met and they talked, but I expected more empathy, more show of physical emotion from the president.
Some chemistry.
Yes. It was just aloof and away from the people. It was more of a formality rather than an act of condolence, rather than a human moment. His statement that, they didn't want to cause collateral damage by killing innocent people is part of our reactive policy towards terrorism. Let us go to the root so that these things don't appear. We don't want a situation where we have to say sorry. We want a situation where we have to congratulate the government for killing those people, for killing the terrorists, for flushing them out. Look at what is going on in Kaduna. The Ansaru group, which is a breakaway from Boko Haram, have now infested Kaduna State, that the governor is now saying that they are now creating a parallel government. They have always created parallel governments everywhere. I mean, where Aliero had to be given a turban, he had a parallel government. They have parallel governments in Zamfara. They have parallel governments in Katsina, where the governor had to first of all beg them that I want to give you shops and give you arms, and they said no. What we have is more profitable than what you are giving us. So the government, those people were able to take control. You wanted to ban markets, it didn't work. You stopped Okadas from working, it didn't work. You stopped networks, GSM and all of that from working, it didn't work.
Right.
These people have control because you have not gone to their roots to take them out. My professor, bless his soul, of history, Professor Orentime, used to say, when you write an essay, the first thing you do is grab the taproot. If you don't grab the taproot, the whole leaves and flowers will all be enjoying themselves in the air and in the sun. That's what is going on.
And of course, it also brings into, you know, a kind of post-mortem when you even look at, you know, the caliber of the Nigerian military forces, who are also, while they're doing the regular warfare, they are also doing their best now to use the non-kinetic measures in a way to curb the spate of terrorism that we see, state of insecurity that we see across the country. And of course, the other way of looking at it, this issue of parallel government. Some have also alluded to the fact that there is an existing opportunity for the terrorists to come in, and there is you know, that chance for the residents to also show sympathy to the people they are seeing. If the government fails to protect them, and then these people come and then, you know, forcefully order them to obey them, that leaves them with little or no chance.
We have heard of ungoverned spaces, and it is usually where there is ungoverned spaces that a lot of these issues of parallel government, so to say, thrive. Because when these terrorists come to a certain village or a certain enclave or community and say, well, we have been watching, your harvest is almost due. If you want to go to harvest and harvest your crop, you have to pay this to us, pay taxes, and then they levy all of those things, pay households sometimes, pay male children sometimes, pay number of family other times, depending on whatever the thing is. We've heard of these stories in Borno State in
even
the days
to travel.
where, yeah,
right.
exactly, in the days where Boko Haram was held sway there. We had this, like Sam said, in Zamfara. We had it in part of Niger State as the case. We've seen all of these things. So government has to, of course, like security analysts say, if you stretch all the Nigerian security agencies and they hold hand wall to wall, they can't cover the entire space. But intelligence and technology can help us manage and man some areas. Now, if you have there are clusters of ungoverned spaces here and there, but you can lock them up in such a way that even if we can't be there, but we ensure that there can't be infiltration from the other side, especially when you see these people go out of the country and come in and go out and come in and go out and come in. The intelligence people know exactly what to do. They know it and they've done it before. They have this country under their watch. It's just a will.
I think that the whole talk about ungoverned spaces tends to excuse the government and so on, because some places we call ungoverned spaces were governed and taken over, and then we call them ungoverned spaces to say, okay, well, we weren't there before. No. You were there and they came and flushed you out. They've taken over villages, they've taken over farms. Farms are not ungoverned spaces. So the roads that lead to farms are not ungoverned spaces. They are governed spaces that have been taken over by government, by the parallel government, quote unquote.
Absolutely, because another way of looking at it could be that the local government, after all, the state government isn't even close to these areas. There are local governments, you know, who make reports as usual to the state government, and of course the Nigerian army that doesn't have, you know, jurisdictions. It's all over. So it's all a very complex nature. It seems simple, but then it's so complex. And in the midst of this, we also see it is complex, and then we see, you know, heart-wrenching, you know, reports of, you know, the brave feats of our soldiers. Unfortunately, now the Presidential Guards Brigade, they lost a substantial number of officers,
really
slain, captured, four soldiers
They responded around the Abuja area.
Right.
They've gone into the bushes and flushed them out. They can do it if they want to do it.
It's the same thing we just said. The will is there. The point there is, see, when the security agencies want to work, right, when they want to work, putting will and all of that inside, you will see results. That is why some persons have said that all of these insecurity issues going on right now, on the day government is ready, it's going to be history. Right? So it's just a will. Nigerians want to see the will from government.
These people are not spirits.
They are not spirits.
Right.
And the point there is,
they're just bad spirits.
The DSS, military intelligence, the amount of information they have about anything and about anybody and about everywhere is unquantifiable.
And even now, of course, the advocacy for state and community policing, you know, intensifies at this time. Ondo State, you know, still in the news. Another number of alleged terrorists who attacked the St. Francis Catholic Church in Owo have also been said. There's going to about 6 now. So, of course, there are still many more answers the Nigerians
That's the intelligence
requiring,
we're talking about. Yeah.
you know, are demanding, you know, as an answer to all this, you know, big security concerns across the nation.
For me, I think we need to commend the Nigerian security agents, from the DSS to the military to, you know, and all of that. When it comes to being professional, they have always been professional. It is just the political this and that, you know, from the politicians that tend to make their work or rubbish the work they do. Otherwise, when it comes to being professional, those guys are good.
And we have to commend the Southwest institutionalization of the Amotekun. And that is what has helped them in the Ondo saga. And the Amotekun were the first to arrest, and we have not been able to reconcile the arrest of Amotekun with the 5 that the defense forces are saying they did. But it is because they have their eyes on the ball. It is because they have a kind of omniscient temperament to terrorism in the Southwest that the army itself is able to show some kind of prowess and even beat its chest over some of its performances in the Southwest. And it is rooted in the fact that there is vigilance, there is method, and there is conscientiousness in pursuing this insecurity bugbear in the Southwest, that this is going on. So the Amotekun thing is a great example. The Bubeagu in the east has not succeeded as much. Right. The ones in the north have not succeeded as much.
I think it's the
but they have to be. There's a lot of coordination.
Yeah, but
in the Southwest.
Absolutely.